Welcome to the Tesla Economist. Please hit the thumbs up and remember to subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon. Really, I don't believe it. Even coming from Tesla, this seems too hard to believe. Yet it sounds possible and absolutely amazing. Not only that, it potentially aligns with some of the other theories we've been using to project various estimates, or actually pushes them even further, which I'll discuss at the end of the video. So what am I alluding to? Well, as hard as it is to believe, Tesla are rumoured to have achieved Giga Shanghai Model Y September production at 1,600 Model Ys a day. We'd previously heard rumours from Wu Hua claiming 1,000 Model Ys a day in August, but 1,600 is a huge jump from the previous month. Let's just do some math to see exactly how big a deal this is. Well, if we multiply 1,600 a day by 365 days a year, that comes in at 584,000 a year. Oh, but there will be downtime and all sorts of reasons on why they can't actually achieve that many a year. Okay, but if these numbers are true, then the 584,000 would serve as a capacity, or a minimum of capable capacity. Who's to say Tesla aren't finished ramping up yet? This is very close to 600,000 Model Y units a year, with an initial claim capacity of 200,000. Do you see? That is 3 times what we were initially told. That is insane. That is some major sandbagging. The sales numbers that come out of China for September are going to be more important than the delivery numbers for the quarter. The quarter numbers just show how the deliveries are over the quarter. September China numbers give us a good indication of how many Model Y units they are currently capable of producing per squared foot, which, I don't know, could then be relayed possibly into their new factories to give some indication of the sheer amount of production capability we may witness there. Except Giga Texas is 7 stories high, with about 3 double-sized floors, so perhaps production level is based more on sheer volume than actual factory footprint, and possibly a much more efficient production process, being able to use multiple floors rather than spreading it all out on one floor. But wait, it doesn't stop there, as we also have a Model 3 factory in China too. That's right, those numbers are just for Model Y. We still have 800 Model 3s a day coming off the line in China as well, but Tesla hit this production rate for Model 3 back as early as December, yet no growth of the Model 3 since the start of the Model Y factory. So perhaps we might infer that all growth in China is targeted at the Model Y. All components get priority for the Model Y, which makes sense as it contributes significantly more profit per vehicle sold. 800 Model 3s a day is only 292,000 a year though. The Model 3 factory is larger than the Model Y factory, so presumably there are still lines and shifts that can be added there too. But the Model 3 doesn't take advantage of manufacturing techniques like the Gigapress, so it will have a smaller output per squared foot generally. But anyway, we get a total of 2,400 vehicles a day with Model Y and Model 3 combined, which becomes 876,000 a year. And in the past, a lot of people have speculated that Shanghai is capable of 1 million units a year. If these production numbers are true, then I wouldn't have thought that those factories might not even be too far off 2 million units a year when all factories are using all the latest production techniques, like front and rear die casts and structural battery packs. Which means we might also assume that Fremont is also possible of a larger capacity too. Elon has told us before Fremont is capable of 1 million units a year, and others have speculated 2 million. If these Chinese numbers are right, then at this stage anything almost seems possible. And then we can only further speculate on the capacity of the new factories. Perhaps we should make a video on speculating their capacity. Let me know if you'd like me to do that. But what? Could Tesla be more like 5 million a year capacity? Is that even possible? Even if they could make that many, wouldn't it create a logistic nightmare of delivering that many cars from one factory? Well, Ford managed to make about 2 million Model 2s a year back in the 1920s based on the infrastructure back then. So I would say it's highly possible. And maybe when Tesla have a few thousand self-driving semi-trucks to help them, that might also have an impact. Or perhaps the cars will simply deliver themselves. Is Tesla actually going to be at a 10 million units a year total potential capacity when these new factories are built? It might not be far off, so possibly worth researching. Anyway, how could Tesla even achieve such a big jump in production numbers? Well, like I was saying at the beginning of the video, this is in line with some of our previous theories of how Tesla can hit such crazy production numbers and ramp up so fast in the next few years. The main answer to that is standard range LFP Model Ys. Tesla are not battery constrained with LFP batteries, therefore they can produce likely as many as the factory can physically manufacture, assuming no other component shortages. This is huge if this has been achieved, I mean, if the rumours from August were true at 1,000 units a day, that was a big enough deal. But to think the following month they are already up 60% again, and I'm actually blown away. It's huge. It changes all the numbers. I believe that the Phase 2 portion of Giga Shanghai being complete could account for some of this ramping up too. No one I speak to still appears to know exactly what Phase 2 was built for in Shanghai. And we have Phase 3 also nearing completion soon too, which should again further increase Shanghai production numbers. But how many more lines and shifts can they place in that factory still? But what if Tesla can make in excess of 2 million Model Ys a year from all their factories? Well, this is a sort of benchmark to replace the Toyota Corolla as the highest selling car in the world by units sold, except Elon said that the Model Y would beat that, not match it. If Tesla are producing 600,000 just from Shanghai, then surely we could expect a combined 2 to 3 million a year from Texas and Berlin. But can Tesla sell 3 million Model Ys a year? Sure, of course they can. The great thing about Tesla is that if their demand ever starts to drop, they have so much margin to work with, they can simply lower the prices and demand picks up, whilst at the same time spending billions on R&D to further continually improve the value of the product. In other words, Tesla continually offer more for less. Except lately, Tesla have been offering more for more, as they keep raising the prices of their cars, as they don't have a demand problem. They have a supply problem. Tesla are raising their prices, and their demand actually still increases. And of course, the EV rebate coming to the US will only further accelerate that. If these Shanghai numbers are true, then maybe Texas alone can make 2 million Model Ys a year, which wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if China really is at 600,000. And if Tesla offer a standard range Model Y in the US at around $8,000 less than a long range version, and then with a further $8,000 off from the government EV rebate, then I'd say Tesla could probably sell 2 million Model Ys in the US alone, especially when it also becomes a vehicle that can drive itself. Rather than consumers just looking for an EV, they also want a self-driving car, i.e. demand for Tesla will now be for the best value EV and the only autonomous vehicle too. No other offering comes close. Of course, an extensive growing supercharger network to accompany that too, which legacy autos are really having a hard time admitting they will use them, or even mentioning the T word. But at the same time, it's not like they have a choice. So maybe globally, Tesla could even double Toyota Corolla sales, which is highly impressive given the Tesla costs over twice the price and contains so much more profit margin. Anyway, this really is big news, and I don't see why it can't be easily replicated across to the other factories. Remember how Elon said he thinks he could still increase production speeds by 10 to 100 times at Battery Day. Well, the Model Y had an initial capacity of 200,000. We're now close to 600,000. That sounds like Tesla managed to increase production speed by 3 times already, although I didn't expect it to happen that soon. Oh, and don't forget, this is all still using relatively older manufacturing techniques, and new, faster, more efficient, lower cost techniques will be deployed in the new factories. I think I will wait until we officially hear the September numbers from China before I start speculating on other various numbers, but I think I would like to calculate a better estimate of what capacity these new factories may very well be able to cater to. This is crazy, and it sure is looking to be a blowout quarter. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.